It's Nerdydollgirl again. I hope you guys are having a good day. So this video I am going to be making is all about buying. And I don't know about you guys, but I do love to shop, especially for my dolls. But you know, I do buy other stuff. But definitely for my dolls, I like to shop. And I was just thinking, I have a lot of experience. I have been buying and selling on eBay and on doll boards and various places for approximately, I'm going to age myself, 16 years. So I figured it'd be good to kind of just make a little video for you guys to have some information so that you guys can buy confidently, and you know, because I know when I first started out, there's stuff you don't know unless somebody tells you or you experience it. And you know, it's really important to be able to buy stuff and have confidence in what you're buying, and I'm just here to help hopefully take a little bit of the fear away. If you hear any noises, it's my two rats in the background. They're quite interested that mommy is awake and doing a video, and sometime I'll have to bring them over to show you guys. So, buying. Let's start. Now, of course, you guys know I need to write everything down, so I will be looking down here a couple of times to kind of jog my memory, because I'm getting more used to being on video, but I still have a little bit of anxiety about okay, I'm gonna forget something. Okay, so anyways, let's start. So first of all, you find something you absolutely love and you want to buy. Well, these are the kind of things that you need to you know, keep in mind. So first of all, one thing that I always recommend is to ask a lot of questions. Now, I know that it can be, you know, uncomfortable sometimes for us to ask questions because we don't want to bother people. But this is an extremely important thing for you to do. So you need to ask various questions. Some of the questions that I recommend you asking, first of all, are there going to be any fees? Selling on eBay and whatnot, there's fees to the seller, but not to the buyer. But so you don't have to worry there. But when you're buying off of eBay in like on DOA or through other, you know, forums or Facebook or anything like that, sellers actually can say, you know, this plus PayPal fees. So what that means is when you sell on PayPal, when you use PayPal as your where you get the money, they will actually charge you for whatever money that you make, unless somebody sends it to you with a friends and family option. And that option is, you know, a very good option, but that person will have to pay for the fees. Now, I personally don't ask my buyers to pay my PayPal fees, but other sellers do. So be aware that that could come up. And you just want to know ahead of time exactly how much the fees are going to be. And then you have to decide if you're willing to pay them. You know, you don't have to pay them, but the seller, you know, that's just what they do. The other thing is that if you are going to do, say your friend has something that you really want and you want to pay for it and you don't want them to get charged the fees, which is very nice, you can use the friends and family option on PayPal. The one big thing is, if you don't know the person or you don't know that person very well, it is actually not a good plan for you to buy something without using that, because you don't actually get coverage. If something happens, they can just say, oh no, I didn't sell them anything. This is money they owed me. So it might sound attractive, you know, in the way that a seller might say it, you know, but it's not safe for you. So don't use it unless you are very comfortable with the person and you're very comfortable with the possibility that you will not be covered. So talking now, obviously you can see I tend to use PayPal for everything that I do. I'm going to tell you at the end some of the really big benefits of using PayPal. But let's keep going. So ask lots of questions, which includes what is their feedback? So feedback is literally that. If I sell something and I do a good job and I pack it well and everything like that, I ask people to give me positive feedback, if they're happy, obviously. And when they do that, they leave feedback so that I can have something to show a potential buyer. So I can say till I'm blue in the face, I'm an awesome seller, blah, 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 blah. And people can say that. But you need to see their feedback, because you will be able to get unbiased opinions of if they actually are good sellers. So, eBay and Den of Angels are very, they have feedback forums that you can look at. And on eBay, obviously, you have the feedback page. Check those out and don't feel bad for asking. This is very, very important. You need to be covered, so you need to ask all of those kind of questions. Now, some sellers won't have feedback because they're new. Again, we will talk about that with the PayPal at the very end. Okay, so the other thing that we need to do, you need to ask if they actually ship to you, because as a seller from Canada, I will ship all around the world. But because I'm in Canada and our postal system is really crappy, if I ship to someone in the, say, UK, it will cost me an arm and a leg if I need to do tracking and insurance. And as a seller on eBay with PayPal, you have to do that or you will not be covered. They could say it never arrived, and it could get lost and there's no insurance for that. And so that's a very important thing to figure out. Ask them, ahead of time, like, are you selling it to me? Can you sell it to me in my country? If so, is there coverage? The other questions is that you need to ask. I have asthma, so unfortunately, I have gotten items before that were covered in smoke, just reeking of smoke. I've had stuff, I'm very allergic to stuff, and I've had stuff reeking of perfume and just really disgustingness. And for me, obviously, I can't have that. But even as a really seasoned buyer, it still does happen. But what you need to do is you need to ask them flat out, do you smoke? Is your home smoke free? That means no, smoking outside and then coming in and then handling it, because the smell will transfer. If you have asthma and allergies, just talk to them do you have pets? Do you put perfume on anything? All of those things you need to be able to ask. And I know it's uncomfortable to do this, but it is very important to do. So make sure you do that. The other thing with asking all the questions is you need to ask them, if you can't see the item in detail, you want to ask for more pictures. And I've actually had some sellers say to me, oh yeah, no, I can't give you a picture right now. That item is in a storage locker, and I can't get to it. And life does happen, and some people that actually is true. And so I'm like, okay, well, that's fine, but I really cannot, commit to it until I actually see the physical evidence of everything I need to look for. And I've had people be like, no, I'm too busy, and trust me, blah blah. No. Then I will just be like, what, if you can't give it to me, then I just have to pass. And if it is something where I will definitely do that for you, but it will take me a week or whatever, that's fine, as long as they do it, so you know exactly what you are getting. Okay, sorry again for looking down. I just have to make sure I don't miss anything for you guys. The other thing that I do usually, and not just because I have my YouTube channel now, but I do box opening videos, or you don't have to necessarily do a video, but just try and take pictures of what it looked like when it arrived and everything like that. And a big, big, big thing that even me as a seasoned veteran of buying, you've got to check everything. So when it arrives, make sure you look it over very well. If it's an outfit, put it on your doll. You know, if it's a doll, make sure you look for every little thing to make sure that it's what you asked for, okay? I'm going to give you an example. So here's Emily, and she is wearing my sailor outfit that I got off Taobao. I'm actually going to make her in this outfit into Sailor Jupiter because I just love Sailor Jupiter. And so the outfit is pretty much spot on, but I have to change the bow and stuff. Regardless, when I got this, they actually had the same picture as a seller on eBay, and I've actually bought one in gray because they didn't have green and I still wanted to see what it was like, and it was perfect and it fit perfectly. So when I ordered from them off this company off of Taobao, I gave them all the measurements to make sure that it was correct and everything. And when it arrived, I did my box opening video and I was like, yay, like this is what I'm gonna do with it and everything. And then I didn't put it on. Yeah, so when I did put it on, I noticed that these little sleeves are weird. They don't puff out like they're supposed to. They're kind of gathered here, and this is not at all what I asked for. So unfortunately, it's been too long and I can't really say anything. And you know, to other people, maybe it doesn't bother them, but for me, I was like, oh goodness, why didn't I check? Why didn't I check? So make sure you check your items. Make sure you look and you know, because if there is a problem, and not necessarily it's you know, a nefarious, I think the word is, seller, it's just they might have missed something, but you need to check because you are the buyer and make sure that you're, you know, seeing that everything is the way it's supposed to be. The other thing to ask for is, you know, do you have the original box? If this stuff is important to you, I always ask for a certificate of authenticity, because if I'm buying a doll, especially with there's so many recasts out there, you know, if you don't have the COA, it's a much harder, you know, thing to prove that this doll is actually like a legitimate one. And unfortunately, some people lose theirs, and it happens, you know. I've got to say, shit happens. But if you can have it, it is better to have that. So, you know, if you want the original box, you want all that sort of stuff, again, you have to ask for it, and you have to make sure that you do your due diligence. Also, shipping. What I was saying about the shipping costs, sometimes I've bought things and the person's like, okay, well, shipping is $20. So I give them the $20. And then they'll come back and they'll be like, oh, well, the shipping was actually $40. You need to give me the $20. Unfortunately for me, I would, in my opinion, you should say, I'm sorry, but it was your responsibility to check the price, and you should, you know, have to pay for it. Now, if they said to me, I shipped it off, and man alive, it was so much more expensive. You know, Canada is really far away or whatever, like something where they're not actually directly asking me, then I might give them the little extra bit, just because I know what it's like as a seller. For me, that sort of a thing has happened before. You know, it's happened for probably everybody's had that happen because postal systems all over the place. But, you know, I feel like as a seller, it's your responsibility to find it out. So don't feel pressured to pay more. You know, this is all the sort of stuff you need to remember. You are the buyer, and if you do all of the things that you know need to do to make sure you're doing your due diligence, then they have responsibility on the other end. And I will actually be making a video of what it, you know, kind of tips for selling and having good feedback and everything like that. So yeah, that is another thing. You know, there are lots of awesome, there's lots of awesome sellers out there. There's lots of people out there who are sweet and kind and will, you know, make your shopping experience really great. And then there are some get ready people, I'm going to swear, some assholes out there who will try and take your money for whatever, you know, and they will try and cheat you. And it's sad, but it happens, you know, shit happens. So if you do all the things that I mentioned, you know, and really do your due diligence, that is the first step. The second step is I highly recommend PayPal. Or if you have another form of payment that you know that if there's any issue whatsoever, you will be covered, then that is important to do. Because I've had bad experiences. I've had people send me crap. Like, I got a bunch of wigs and I spent a lot of money, and they came and they literally were pieces of the mohair, and they were not even sewn. It was horrendous. And I had to fight because the seller would not, you know, she just yelled and screamed at me and told me all these horrible things about myself, even though she didn't know me from a hole in the ground. So, you know, I've just learned that you need to cover your butt. So I use PayPal all the time. Now, they are corporations, so sometimes because it's harder for them to, you know, deal with the other person, sometimes they will try and, you know, say, well, you know, do this or do that. But if you know that you're right and they are wrong, then you need to stand up for yourself. That's kind of just an important life lesson, period, is make sure that you are you know, backing yourself up. And PayPal is a company, and, you know, don't be mean to them. Be polite, be courteous, but just say, you know, this horrible thing happened. I'm willing to do the things that I need to do, but if I'm actually going to lose money and I'm going to get, you know, treated poorly, then this is not okay. You know, you got to stand up for yourself. So anyways, I hope you guys liked this video. I hope I didn't like overwhelm you guys, but it's just really important because I want people to be able to enjoy this hobby, and you know, that part of that is buying. Okay, so I will talk to you guys later. I will bring my selling guide in the next week or so. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Please like, please share, please subscribe if you enjoy this and want to see more from me. Please comment with any questions or ideas that you want to look, you know, have me do. And if you're interested, I do have a Patreon page. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Bye.